The blood-soaked land of Kurukshetra had witnessed the rise and fall of 18 suns. With each dawn, the lines between dharma and adharma grew more blurred, and with each dusk, the life stories of countless warriors came to a close. This was not merely a war fought with weapons and armies, it was a grand saga of ideals, vows, curses and principles, where every character was tested against their destiny and their dharma. As the war horn blew on the 18th day, the morale of the Kaurava army was all but broken. Bhishma lay on a bed of arrows, Drona had attained martyrdom, and now the entirety of Duryodhana's hope was centered on a single warrior, Angaraj Karna. Karna, born with the brilliance of the sun god and the divine protection of his armor, stood at the most decisive moment of his life. His quiver was filled with celestial weapons, yet there was one arrow he had preserved for years for one target alone, Arjuna. This was no ordinary arrow, it was the Nagastra. Its power came not from sacred chants or a deity's boon, but from the searing vengeance of a Naga, a mythical serpent burning in its heart. Its story was tied to the cataclysmic inferno of the Pandava forest, a time when Agni, the fire god, to satiate his hunger, had burned the entire forest to ashes with the help of Lord Krishna and Arjuna. In that fire, the entire Takshaka clan of Nagas had been wiped out. However, one Naga, Ashwasena, had miraculously survived because his mother had sacrificed herself to the flames to save him. Standing on the ashes of his mother and his entire race, Ashwasena smoldered with a fire of hatred and revenge against Arjuna. He had vowed that he would not rest until he had taken Arjuna's life. When the time for the fated duel between Karna and Arjuna arrived, Ashwasena saw his opportunity. He approached Karna and proposed, "O Angaraj, we share the same enemy, Arjuna. You place an arrow on your bow and I shall take a subtle form and mount it. When your unerring aim and my lethal venom become one, no one in the three realms will be able to save Arjuna." Karna accepted this proposal, for he desired victory over Arjuna at any cost. On the battlefield, that very moment had arrived. The duel between Karna and Arjuna was at its peak. The sky thundered and sparked with the clash of their arrows. Karna's conventional arrows were failing to penetrate Arjuna's defenses. Then, taking a deep breath, Karna reached into his quiver and drew out that special arrow. The moment the Nagastra came into his hand, a hush fell over the battlefield. A cold hiss seemed to permeate the air, and a momentary haze fell over the sun's light. Karna closed his eyes, recalling every insult, all the pain of his life, and his solemn promise to Duryodhana. He invoked the spirit of the Naga Ashwasena onto the arrow and mounted it on his invincible bow, Vijaya. His aim was locked, unwavering, Arjuna's throat. He drew the bow string back to his ear, and for an instant, time itself seemed to stand still. Seated as the charioteer on Arjuna's chariot, Lord Krishna, the all-knowing, instantly perceived the devastating threat. He not only saw the power of the arrow, but also clearly saw the vengeful spirit of Ashwasena riding upon it. He knew that Arjuna at that moment had no counter for this combined assault. It was an infallible weapon, destined to find its mark. Just as Karna released the bowstring, the arrow shot forth like death personified. It flew like a hissing black serpent, tearing through the air and leaving a trail of fire in its wake. Its speed was so immense that it was impossible for the naked eye to follow. In that very moment, with less than a fraction of a second before the arrow reached Arjuna, Shri Krishna performed his divine Leela. Using his yogic power, he applied immense pressure with his feet onto the platform of the chariot. The chariot's horses whinnied in shock and fell to their knees, and the great wheel of the chariot sunk several inches into the blood-soaked earth. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The chariot, which was stable a moment ago, was now stooped low. Karna's unerring aim, which was set on Arjuna's throat, now missed its mark. Because the chariot had sunk, Arjuna's head was also lowered. The devastating Nagastra, instead of piercing his throat, flew just above it, striking his magnificent celestial crown, which had been gifted by the king of gods, Indra. The crown shattered into 1,000 pieces, its gems and jewels scattering in the air, and for a moment, Arjuna himself was stunned, wondering how he had survived. The Nagastra had missed its target, but the vengeful spirit of Ashwasena upon it was not yet pacified. He returned to Karna's quiver and spoke in a furious tone. "Karna, your aim missed, but the fault is not yours. It is the deceit of that trickster Krishna. Give me one more chance. This time I shall guide the arrow and Arjuna's end will be certain." But Karna, besides being a great warrior, was also a man of unshakable principles. He replied in a disappointed yet firm voice, "Ashwasena, Karna does not use the same arrow on the same enemy twice. Furthermore, I wish to attain this victory through my own prowess, not with the help of another. To gain victory by riding on a Naga's revenge is against my warrior's dharma." Saying this, Karna nocked another arrow. Enraged at his proposal being rejected, Ashwasena decided to attack Arjuna himself. Taking his true serpent form, he flew through the air to strike Arjuna. But the threat was now visible. Shri Krishna immediately alerted Arjuna. "Partha, be wary, that Naga is attacking you." Arjuna, instantly aware, dispatched the vengeful Naga in mid-air with a volley of his arrows, thus ending Ashwasena's quest for revenge. In this way, the divine ingenuity of Shri Krishna and Karna's unwavering adherence to his own principles saved Arjuna's life. This incident shows that wars are not won by might and skill alone. Destiny, wisdom, and the adherence to dharma play a crucial role. It is impossible to change what is written in the script of fate, and before it, even the mightiest warrior's prowess and most infallible weapon remain incomplete. For such interesting and unheard mythological tales, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Silent Stories.